Alright guys, I'm going to share something I found interesting. I don't usually do videos like this. I think it's interesting. It might have no relevance, but I think it's gonna give you a good wake-up call, good message. I don't know if you guys have heard of Alan Watts. I'm a massive fan of Alan Watts. He's no longer here no more. Alan Watts was a philosopher. He was an interpreter, if I'm correct, of Eastern philosophy to the West. So he's a Western guy, and I think most of his philosophy was about Buddhism, a whole lot of other stuff. I might not be completely right with the facts, but most of the stuff he talks about is Buddhism, Zen Buddhism. He talks about personal identity, all the sort of problems that you guys are interested in related to women, becoming yourself, becoming socially relaxed, overcoming social conditioning, ego, getting rid of your ego, your problems, your trauma. He talks about everything to do with being a human being and the problems of being human, and it just gives a great insight. My favourite Alan Watts video, I don't really like to say favourite, but one that stood out to me the most, and I've come back to it so many times, and it's actually my cousin that first introduced me to Alan Watts. He showed me him when I was about 25. When I first heard it, I didn't really understand it, I didn't like it, and then I kind of went away a few months, I heard it again, and I think I think they call it hearing it with your second ear, and it just got me, it grabbed me, and I just thought, this guy's amazing. It really spoke to me, and I was surprised how good he was, because he speaks so articulate, he's so posh, so eloquent, but he can kind of get through to you in a way that's very simple and make something so complex so easy, and I think that's a great teacher. So, a video I love, it just blew me away, it massively helped me with women and everything in life. There's a video that he calls the Fear of Enlightenment, and Alan Watts basically talks about, I love this, he talks about the student that goes to the Zen master. It's just a metaphor, I think. The story, it doesn't really matter if it's a true story or not, but it's got a lot of relevance. So basically, we're all students, aren't we, at some point? Everyone, like, I've had a life coach, you guys have had me, or you've had someone else, if you've had a mentor or a personal trainer, whatever. So the student goes to the Zen monk, and says to him, you know, I've got a problem. I want to get one up on the universe, which just basically means he's got a problem. I'm not happy with life. I want you to help me. And the Zen teacher looks at him and says, I can't help you, you know, you're wasting my time, just come off it. And he's confused, he's a little bit infuriated, because he's thinking, you're a teacher, that's your job. I've come to you with a problem and you're not helping me, what's going on? So he says to the teacher, so the student says to the teacher, if you can't help me, then, you know, you must be able to tell me, clearly there's a problem. And he's saying, what are all these students doing here? I think they're all meditating or praying. And he goes, oh, they're just crazy men wasting their time. And he's like, what? And he goes, they're just sitting around doing nothing. So he persists in asking for help, and eventually the guru, or the teacher, as it were, he gets frustrated and says, all right, you know, you're asking me for a solution and you're not listening. I'm telling you don't have a problem, you're fine as you are. You won't have it your way, so I'm going to give you a solution. So basically, what he's saying is, the realization is that there's nothing wrong with us. We create the problems in our own mind, in our perception, and we make the problem ourselves. So like sayings like, we're our own worst enemy. And I know I felt like that many times in my life. I felt like I just can't get out of my own way, and I've got a problem and I'm trying to solve it. It's like an unsolvable problem. And you want to go out, you want to get a teacher to help you fix your problem, but really, no one can really truly teach you better than yourself. So what the monk said was, what Alan Watts said was, what the guru does is, he looks you straight in your eye, and I've had this before from a teacher, and he sees who you really are. He sees you in your true nature. He goes beyond ego, beyond your personal identity, you know, away from your insecurities and all the things that bother you and that you're embarrassed about, that you don't want to share with people. And he sees who you truly are, which I think it was his consciousness, right? I'm going very deep. But you don't see that side of yourself. What Alan Watts says is, deep down you know who you are, but you're playing a big trick on yourself, because you want to play the society's kind of role, poor little me. You want to pretend that you're your ego, you're the person that your friends have kind of taught you who you are, which is how they respond to you, and you're not happy with yourself. You're afraid of realizing your potential, which is what Jeff talks about, Jeff Thompson. So the guru's saying, stop making a fool of yourself, stop playing this role, and just be yourself, which is what I teach guys how to do. When I say just be natural, and guys say, you can't just be natural, you need a method, you need a blueprint, or you've got to learn a structure, and so forth. So when I first heard this, I thought, it makes a lot of sense. It sounds poetic, but it sounds still a bit like bullshit. I still couldn't get it. I'm slowly starting to understand what it means, because me getting much better with women and sleeping with a more attractive women and kind of hitting those, you know, those egotistical goals that I had when I first started. I'm not apologising for them. I had to go through this learning curve to get to where I am now. I kind of realised that the thing that I was searching for, I always had it. And I'm not sounding cheesy, I know it sounds a little bit too spiritual, but I was it. I had that thing, but I didn't believe it because of my social conditioning, because of the bullying. So what Alan Watts is saying is, there's nothing I can do for you that can change it. There's nothing outside you can get. The money, shagging loads of women, cars, houses, validation from people, is something that you already possess. But whether you choose to acknowledge it, that's the choice you make. And most of us, if we're being honest, we're too afraid to admit that we have it. So we play a sick joke on ourselves, and that's what Watts talks about, what the guru does. He says, all right, you're saying you've got a problem. I'm telling you you're fine. It's like me saying to a guy, you know what, you can sleep with hot girls on the street. You can go and approach a girl, it's fine. He's going, no, I can't do it, I can't do it. And I'm saying, why not? Oh, it's weird, or the girl's going to reject me, or I don't feel right. And the reality is that he can do it any time and he can get the results, but his perception telling him he can't. So obviously, he's going to create that reality and he's going to get that back. So I know it's crazy, stay with me. It's very simple, but it's very profound. Now, what Watts is saying is, because you're so hard on your beliefs, on your conditioning, only you can undo it. So if you feel that you need a guru or a method or a blueprint or any type of coaching or philosophy or direction, then you're going to need that, because that's the only way, that's the only procedure that's going to get you to break out of your shell, so to speak, and become yourself, or find that bit, that, you know, that release in you, that, this is me. If you've ever gone out and done day game, and when you first started you was nervous, but once you just kind of kept approaching, you got into state, you get that feeling of it, I don't know, it's like nirvana. You feel so good, you can be yourself, you don't feel judged, everything you do works. And I think that's the place that Alan Watts was talking about. So basically, I definitely was a hard nut to crack. Alan Watts says there's different types of students. There's ones that are, their nuts are easy to crack. So the guru can just say, come off it, and the student can go, I've come off it. The mask offs, and I found it. Some students are very difficult to crack, myself. Maybe some of you guys that are watching this video now, I need more convincing, because my dialogue was it was very vicious. I had a lot of insecurity, a lot of bullying, a lot of trauma. So to undo that, it really took some convincing. So I just found this so fascinating. I was dying to share it. For ages I was thinking, how can I share this and not sound too wishy-washy? But luckily I didn't say it, Alan Watts said it. And I think it's fucking amazing, because the further I go into this journey and meeting women and teaching guys how to do it, personal developments and all that, I'm starting to know what it means. I'll be honest with you, I'm still struggling with it. I get days where I still feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I should be doing more. And then I get days where I feel like I'm good enough, man. I feel fully confident. I've got women. You know, I'm a good teacher. Money isn't bad. But there's days where it hits me and I don't feel good enough, or I just feel like there's something missing and I can't get it from the street. And I always come back to this video and I think, oh, this is amazing. Every time you think you've got it, you haven't got it. So I want you to check this video out. If it's too deep for you, that's fine. If you don't like this video, if you're interested in learning this and getting some insight, click the link below and check this video out. It's absolutely amazing. It's called Alan Watts, The Fear of Enlightenment. And what it basically means is the fear of success, the fear of figuring out who we are, because we're afraid, obviously, because social conditioning, the way people might perceive us, all those reasons that we're afraid of coming off it. And I thought that was amazing, all right? So I hope you get some insight. Like and subscribe, enjoy the process, and check the video out below. It's amazing. And let me know what you think if you get something from it, all right? Bye. Let me see that.